All right, so are you ready to dive into Solana?
Let's do it.
This blockchain platform is making quite a few waves, you
Mm.
know, with its speed and those crazy low transaction fees. And you've given us a really interesting mix of sources here.
Yeah.
We've got Wikipedia, some in-depth articles, even some thoughts from Forbes Advisor. So the big question that we're trying to answer today is, does Solana live up to the hype?
Yeah. Is it an Ethereum killer?
Yeah. Is it really an Ethereum
Uh,
killer? Let's find out. One thing that I noticed right away was this whole debate about decentralization.
Yeah, that's the key point.
Yeah.
A lot of people are drawn to Solana because it can handle thousands of transactions per second,
Right.
which makes Ethereum's 15 look a bit sluggish in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
But to get that speed, Solana uses a different approach called delegated proof of stake, or DPoS.
Okay.
And that raises questions about, whether it's truly as decentralized as something like Bitcoin or even Ethereum.
So you're saying that maybe Solana is sacrificing some of that core blockchain philosophy of decentralization.
Potentially.
Yeah. In exchange for speed and efficiency.
Exactly. And that's a debate that we'll have to sort of unpack as we go deeper here.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the principles behind it. What's more important? Having a truly decentralized system, even if it's slower, or prioritizing speed and efficiency, even if it means some level of centralization.
I see what you're saying. So that's something for you listening to think about too. What are your priorities when it comes to blockchain? But before we get too philosophical about it, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what Solana actually happens. Because some of the sources kind of assumed a pretty high level of knowledge about this stuff.
Right.
So let's break it down a little bit.
Yeah, sounds good. So at its core, Solana is a blockchain platform, kind of like Ethereum,
Okay.
and it was launched back in 2020 with the goal of hosting decentralized applications, those apps you might have heard about, and also NFTs, which are obviously becoming more and more popular.
And like most blockchains, Solana has its own native cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
Right.
you got it. It's called SOL, and it's used for all the typical crypto things,
Mm-hmm.
paying transaction fees, staking to earn rewards, and even participating in governance.
Okay.
And just like other cryptos, you can buy and sell SOL on various exchanges.
Right.
And its price can be, well, let's just say it's been volatile.
Volatile is one way to put it. One article even mentioned that the FTX bankruptcy had a big impact on Solana's price
Interesting.
because FTX held a significant amount of SOL. So that really highlights just how interconnected this whole crypto market is, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
It shows that events that are seemingly unrelated to a specific cryptocurrency
Right.
can have ripple effects throughout the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
Now, going back to what makes Solana stand out, one of the key things that kept popping up in the sources was this proof of history thing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I thought some of the explanations were a bit dense, even for me.
Yeah, I felt that too. It was like, I get the basic idea of blockchain, but proof of history sounded kind of complicated. Is there a way you can break it down for us in a way that even your grandma could understand?
I'll give it a shot. Okay,
Yeah.
so imagine proof of history like a clock that everyone agrees on.
Okay.
That's built right into the blockchain.
Okay.
Every transaction gets stamped with a precise time, creating a clear order of events.
Uh-huh.
And this eliminates the need for energy-intensive mining,
Okay.
which is how Bitcoin and some other blockchains validate transactions.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So instead of relying on those miners to solve complex puzzles
Right.
and use up a ton of energy, Solana has this built-in clock that keeps things running smoothly and efficiently.
Exactly.
And that's how they achieve those really fast speeds that we were talking about.
Exactly. Think about what that speed means for you. Suddenly, micropayments become viable. You can send tiny fractions of a dollar without worrying about high fees. Complex, decentralized applications can run smoothly without those annoying delays. Even real-time gaming on the blockchain becomes a real possibility.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. It's like this whole world of possibilities opens up when transactions are that fast and cheap. But you mentioned earlier that Solana uses this delegated proof of stake system, right?
Right.
And that's where the decentralization debate comes in.
Right. Again, instead of relying on miners, Solana uses validators to process transactions and secure the network.
Okay.
Token holders, the people who own SOL, can delegate their voting power to these validators.
Right.
The validators who get the most votes earn the right to validate transactions
Okay.
and get rewarded for their efforts.
So that sounds kind of democratic in a way.
Right.
But you said this raises questions about decentralization.
Well, think about it this way. What if a small number of validators end up with a majority of the voting power?
Yeah.
Does that really align with the spirit of decentralization,
Hmm.
which is all about distributing power and avoiding single points of failure?
That's a good point. It's like, yeah, it's technically decentralized because there are multiple validators.
Right.
But what if those validators are all controlled by a small group of people or even a single entity? That doesn't sound very decentralized to me.
Exactly, and that's a key question that we need to consider as we evaluate Solana.
Right.
Is it really as decentralized as it claims to be?
Yeah.
Or are we sacrificing some of that decentralization in exchange for speed and efficiency?
Okay, so we've got this super fast, efficient blockchain that might be making some compromises on decentralization. That's a pretty intriguing starting point. But you at home are probably wondering, what can I actually do with Solana? And that's where it gets really interesting.
So Solana's making waves in a bunch of different areas. One that really stands out is DeFi,
Okay.
or decentralized finance. It's this whole movement to create financial tools and services that are built on blockchain technology outside of traditional banks and institutions.
DeFi sounds really interesting, but I'll admit it's a little intimidating. Can you give me an example of how it works on Solana?
Sure, one popular DeFi platform on Solana is called Siam. It's a decentralized exchange, which means you can trade cryptocurrencies directly with other users without needing a centralized intermediary like Coinbase or Binance.
So it's like cutting out the middleman
Yeah,
and making trading more efficient and potentially cheaper.
exactly. And because Solana's so fast and has low fees, using Serum can be a much smoother experience compared to decentralized exchanges on other blockchains.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, I remember reading about this NFT project on Solana called Degenerate Ape Academy, and apparently it caused Solana's price to jump like crazy, so it seems like NFTs are a big deal on Solana.
Absolutely. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are digital assets that represent ownership of something unique.
Right.
They can be anything from digital art to music to virtual real estate.
Yeah?
And Solana's speed and low fees make it a really attractive platform for buying, selling, and trading NFTs.
So Solana is good for DeFi, NFTs. What else? The sources mentioned something about Solana Pay.
Right, Solana Pay is another really ambitious project. They're trying to disrupt traditional payment systems like Visa and MasterCard by offering faster, cheaper transactions for merchants. Imagine being able to pay for your coffee with SOL
Wow.
and having the transaction clear almost instantly with a fraction of a penny in fees.
That would be a game changer for sure. Okay, but you praise Solana speed, but those outages are concerning. Can I really trust my money or dApp on a network that goes dark for hours at a time?
That's a valid concern. I mean, remember that 17-hour blackout back in 2021?
Right,
That definitely shook people's confidence. Reliability is crucial,
right.
especially when you're dealing with financial applications. Solana needs to prove that it can maintain a stable network if it wants to gain widespread adoption.
What about security? I mean, the crypto world just seems like a magnet for hackers. Can
Yeah.
Solana really stay ahead of the bad guys?
Security is an ongoing battle, but Solana has learned some hard lessons.
Right.
That 2022 hack of thousands of Solana wallets,
Yeah.
which was attributed to a vulnerability in Slope Finance's wallet software, was a major wake-up call. It highlighted the fact that even the most sophisticated blockchain platforms are still vulnerable to attacks.
So even though Solana is known for its technical innovation,
Right.
it's still grappling with these real-world challenges of reliability and security.
Exactly. And then there's the whole regulatory uncertainty looming over the entire crypto space.
Right.
The SEC is looking into whether Solana,
Yeah.
along with many other cryptocurrencies, should be classified as securities.
Okay, so that's a big one. What happens if the SEC decides that Solana is a security? What does that even mean?
Well, it could have huge implications.
Okay.
It can mean a whole new set of regulations and compliance requirements for Solana, potentially even limiting how SOL can be traded.
Right.
This is something the entire crypto industry is watching very closely.
So with all these challenges and uncertainties, is Solana even a good investment? What's your take on that?
Well, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you what to do with your money.
Of course, of course.
But I can say that Solana is a high-risk, high-reward kind of investment.
Okay.
Its price has been incredibly volatile, reaching almost $260 in 2021
Wow.
and currently hovering around $143.
So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. You mentioned that Solana has a lot of potential, but it's still a relatively young project with some hurdles to overcome.
For sure.
Is there anything specific that stands out to you as either a major strength or a major weakness?
I think one of Solana's biggest strengths is its focus on speed and scalability.
Okay.
They've really pushed the boundaries of what's possible with blockchain technology.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those outages and security concerns are still lingering in the background.
And what about this whole decentralization debate? You said that was a key question we needed to consider. Do you think Solana's reliance on delegated proof of stake is a deal breaker?
It's a complex issue. I think it depends on your individual priorities and what you're looking for in a blockchain platform.
Yeah.
If true decentralization is your absolute top priority,
Right.
then Solana's approach might give you pause.
That's fair. So we've covered a lot of ground here. DeFi, NFTs, payments, outages, security concerns, regulatory uncertainty, and this ongoing debate about decentralization. What's fascinating here is how all these pieces connect. It's not just about the technology, it's about the impact it has on the real world
Exactly.
and the choices we make as users, developers, and investors.
Right. And it's important to remember that the blockchain space is constantly evolving. What's true today might not be true tomorrow.
Right.
New technologies will emerge, new challenges will arise, and the landscape will continue to shift.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the bigger picture, doesn't it? I mean, we've seen Solana's potential to revolutionize finance, gaming, even the way we make everyday payments.
Yeah.
But we've also seen its vulnerabilities.
Right.
It's made me realize that there are still so many questions about how blockchain technology will fit into our lives, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's exciting and daunting at the same time. Right.
Mhm.
One thing that really stuck with me from all this research was the comparison between Solana and Ethereum.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody says Solana is the Ethereum killer, but
Right.
doesn't Ethereum's massive community give it a staying power that Solana just doesn't have yet?
That's a great point. A lot of what we read kind of framed it as this head-to-head battle with Solana trying to dethrone Ethereum.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not that simple.
Right.
Maybe they can both coexist and serve different purposes.
Yes, like comparing apples and oranges in a way.
Right?
They both have their strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
their own philosophies and approaches. Ethereum has this huge network of developers and users.
Right. They refer.
They have that first mover advantage.
Yeah.
But Solana's coming in hot with these incredible speeds and low fees,
Right.
attracting in new ways of innovators.
Yeah. And they're both constantly evolving. I mean, remember those sources mentioned that Ethereum is working on some major upgrades to address its scalability issues. Who knows what the future holds?
Yeah, exactly. It's a dynamic landscape.
Right.
And that's what makes it so fascinating to watch.
Absolutely.
It's not just about one platform winning or losing.
Right.
It's about the overall progress of blockchain technology and its impact on the world.
I think this deep dive has really opened my eyes to the complexities of blockchain technology. It's not just about the tech itself, but about the choices we make as a society,
Right.
the trade-offs we're willing to accept, and the values we prioritize.
Yeah, those choices have real-world consequences.
Yeah.
They shape the way these technologies are developed, adopted, and ultimately integrated into our lives.
So for everyone listening out there, what are your takeaways from this deep dive into Solana? Is this something that you'd consider using or maybe even investing in?
Yeah. Are you more excited about the potential or more concerned about the risks?
Remember, do your own research, weigh the pros and cons carefully, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
That's right.
This has been an amazing conversation. It's clear that Solana is just one piece of a much larger puzzle.
Yeah.
Blockchain technology is evolving rapidly, and its impact on our world is only just beginning to unfold.
So stay curious, keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one building the next groundbreaking blockchain application.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us.